Imagine waking up in the middle of the night because your feet feel like they're on fire. A sharp tingling, a burning sensation, or that strange numbness that makes it feel like you're walking on foam instead of your own feet. Now imagine this: Japan's oldest practicing doctor, a man who has studied nerves and aging for over a century, says that most people can calm these sensations in just 60 seconds. 60 seconds. Not with medicine, not with expensive treatments, not with complicated exercises, but with a simple nerve trick almost no one outside Japan has ever heard of. And today, I'm going to share exactly how he teaches it, why it works, and how you can use it, starting today, to get relief from tingling, burning, and numb feet, especially if you're over 50 and dealing with nerve stress every single day. Tingling, burning, and numb feet are often misunderstood because most people assume these sensations are the problem themselves. In reality, they are simply messengers, signals your body sends when something deeper isn't functioning the way it should. When you feel that strange pins and needles sensation, the buzzing under the skin, the sudden burning warmth, or that unsettling numbness that makes your feet feel disconnected from your body, it's easy to believe that age, bad luck, or simple wear and tear are to blame. But Japan's oldest doctor explains that these sensations are not random, and they are not signs that your feet are giving up on you. Instead, they are warning lights, much like the small indicator on a dashboard that lights up long before the engine breaks down. They are your nerves trying to communicate that they are being restricted, squeezed, deprived of proper blood flow, or interrupted in their signal pathway. The nerves in your feet are incredibly sensitive, more sensitive than most areas of your body, because they are responsible for balance, temperature recognition, and constant communication with the brain. When anything interferes with that communication, even slightly, the nerves react by sending unusual signals. They start to fire incorrectly, and you experience those odd sensations that feel so uncomfortable. But here is the hopeful part. The nerves themselves are rarely the real issue. The problem is what's happening around them. As you age, the muscles, tendons, and tissues around the nerves can tighten, shorten, or lose flexibility. Poor posture, too much sitting, low circulation, or stress can compress the pathways the nerves travel through. Imagine a narrow hallway that gradually becomes tighter over the years. At first, you barely notice the change, but eventually, walking through that hallway becomes uncomfortable because there simply isn't enough space. Your nerves experience the same thing. Without enough room or healthy blood flow, they begin to struggle. This struggle shows up as tingling, burning, numbness, and even sudden weakness. Your feet aren't failing you, they're calling for help. Many people treat the sensations directly by rubbing their feet, using warm water soaks, or applying creams. While these things may provide temporary comfort, they don't reach the deeper cause. The sensations themselves are not the root. They are the message pointing you toward the root. Think of it like hearing an alarm in your house. You don't disable the alarm. You figure out what triggered it. These nerve sensations are the alarm. They are trying to tell you that the nerve pathways leading from your lower back through your legs down into your feet are experiencing tension or blockage. Understanding this changes everything. Instead of feeling discouraged by the burning or worried about the numbness, you can see these sensations as your body's way of asking for relief. And that's why techniques like the 1-minute nerve trick work so well. They don't just calm the symptoms, they address the restriction, the tightness, and the lack of circulation that cause the nervous system to misfire in the first place. When you recognize that these sensations are signals rather than permanent conditions, you regain a sense of control. You realize that your nerves can recover, and that the discomfort you feel is not a sign of decline, but a sign that your body is trying to guide you toward the solution. Japan's oldest practicing doctor has become well known not just because of his age or experience, but because of the simple, practical methods he teaches that deliver real results without requiring complicated routines or expensive treatments. One of the most powerful techniques he shares is a 1-minute nerve trick, designed specifically to help people who struggle with tingling, burning, or numbness in their feet. What makes this method so unique is its simplicity. It doesn't rely on medication, tools, or long exercises. Instead, it uses gentle stimulation to activate the nerves and improve the communication between the brain and the lower limbs. According to this doctor, the body responds fastest to techniques that are easy, repetitive, and can be done every single day without strain or hesitation. That is exactly why this 1-minute trick has helped so many people. It's accessible for seniors, easy for those with limited mobility, and effective for anyone who feels their nerves are under stress. By focusing on the outer nerve pathway of the leg and the areas of the foot responsible for sensory communication, the trick quickly reduces tension that builds up around the nerve roots. The doctor discovered this method after decades of observing thousands of patients, many of whom had tried everything else. He noticed that traditional stretches or foot massages often targeted the wrong areas. People worked on the bottom of their feet, thinking the discomfort started there, but he realized that the real problem was higher up the chain. The nerves that end in the feet begin near the lower spine and travel through the legs. If any part of that pathway is tight, compressed, or receiving poor circulation, the feet react. Instead of treating the feet alone, he developed a technique that gently wakes up the entire nerve line. The sequence he teaches, tapping along the outer leg, stimulating the top of the foot, activating the toes, and soothing the arch, creates a chain reaction that encourages the nerves to communicate more clearly with the brain. This is why people often feel immediate warmth or improved sensation. The nerves aren't being forced into action, they're being reminded how to fire correctly. Another reason this trick stands out is that it works even when done slowly or imperfectly. You don't need flexibility, strength, or special skill to perform it. Even someone dealing with severe nerve sensitivity can start with extremely gentle tapping and gradually increase pressure as their nerves learn to relax. The technique respects the body's limits, which is something the doctor emphasizes over and over. He teaches that nerves do not respond well to aggressive movement. Harsh stretching or pressing too hard can make the nerves recoil or tighten even more, but light, rhythmic stimulation encourages them to open, release tension, and reset their signals. This is why his 1-minute method begins with soft tapping instead of stretching or pressing. It prepares the nerves by easing them into a calmer state. People in Japan often use this trick throughout the day before walking, before sleeping, and even during long periods of sitting. The doctor recommends this because nerves love repetition. The more often you encourage them to relax and communicate properly, the more consistently they behave. Over time, this simple practice helps reduce burning sensations, restore sensation to numb areas, and improve balance and stability. Many individuals who struggled for years with nerve discomfort say that this small daily habit gave them back a sense of control over their bodies. The best part is that the method takes only 1 minute, making it easy to commit to and maintain. The doctor believes that healing should never feel overwhelming, and this technique reflects that philosophy. It offers immediate relief, while also supporting long-term nerve health through gentle, natural activation. The root cause of tingling, burning, or numb feet is often misunderstood because people naturally assume the problem lies in the feet themselves. But Japan's oldest doctor explains that the source of these sensations is usually much higher up the body, in a place most people never consider. The nerves that allow you to feel temperature, pressure, and movement in your feet begin in the lower spine and travel through the hips, thighs, knees, and legs before finally reaching the toes. Along this pathway, the nerves weave through tight spaces surrounded by muscles, tendons, and connective tissue. As the body ages, or as lifestyle habits change, these spaces can become narrow or tense. Hours of sitting, poor posture, limited movement, stress, and weakened muscles all gradually increase pressure on the nerves as they pass through these areas. When this happens, the nerves can't travel freely the way they should. They become compressed, irritated, or deprived of the blood flow they need to function properly. The sensations you feel in your feet, whether it's burning, tingling, sudden jolts, or numb patches, are actually symptoms of restricted nerves along the pathway, not just the result of something happening at the bottom of the feet. This type of nerve restriction is extremely common and often goes unnoticed because you can't see or directly feel where the pressure is happening. The symptoms show up far away from the source. It's like a kink in a garden hose that causes the water flow to become weak at the end of the line. The water at the tip seems like the issue, but the real problem is much earlier along the hose. The human nervous system works the same way. When there is tightness or compression in the lower back, hips, or along the legs, the nerves respond by sending confusing or distorted signals to the feet. This explains why rubbing or massaging the feet might give temporary comfort but doesn't resolve the actual cause. The nerves are struggling higher up, and unless that pressure is relieved, the symptoms continue to return. The doctor emphasizes that nerves are delicate and responsive, and when they experience even slight restriction, they begin to misfire. Misfiring nerves send signals that feel like buzzing, tingling, heat, cold, or numbness. Another important piece of this explanation is how circulation plays a role. Healthy nerves rely on steady blood flow to stay nourished and oxygenated. When the pathway is compressed, not only are the nerves squeezed, but the blood supply to those nerves becomes limited. Reduced circulation means the nerves become irritated more easily and recover more slowly. This is why people often feel their symptoms worsen when they sit too long, stand for extended periods, or wake up after sleeping in one position for hours. The blood doesn't circulate as well, and the nerves become even more sensitive. Over time, the combination of pressure and poor circulation leads to chronic discomfort. The doctor's research also highlights how muscle tension influences nerve function. As people age or move less, the muscles in the lower back and legs can tighten and shorten, sometimes without any pain. When these muscles stiffen, they press against the nerve lines that run beneath or between them. Even minor tightness can interfere with nerve transmission. This is why so many older adults experience nerve symptoms without having any obvious injury or condition. Their bodies simply accumulate tension until the nerves can no longer operate smoothly. By understanding that the true source of nerve discomfort is often located far from the feet, it becomes clear why methods that release tension along the entire nerve pathway are so effective. When you improve circulation, create more space around the nerve, and reduce muscle tension along the legs and lower back, the nerves regain their ability to send clean, accurate signals to the feet. Symptoms begin to fade because the root cause is finally being addressed. This understanding helps people shift their focus from treating only the feet to caring for the entire nerve root, which leads to longer-lasting relief and healthier nerve function overall. The technique, taught by Japan's oldest doctor, works so effectively because it focuses on waking up the entire nerve pathway using a simple 3-step method that anyone can perform. Each part of the routine plays a specific role in relaxing the nerves, improving circulation, and resetting the communication between the brain and the feet. The first part, gentle tapping along the outer side of the leg, is more powerful than it looks. This area houses the peroneal nerve pathway, a major branch that influences sensation and movement in the feet. Over time, tension builds up around this pathway from sitting too long, walking with imbalanced posture, or carrying stress in the hips and legs. Tapping sends rhythmic vibrations into the muscle tissue, which helps release this tension without force. It's almost like knocking on a door to get the attention of the nervous system. The nerves respond to this light stimulation by becoming more alert, and the muscles surrounding them begin to soften. Many people notice tingling or warmth almost immediately, not because something is wrong, but because blood flow is returning to areas that have been stagnant. The tapping continues downward toward the ankle because the nerves branch and narrow as they approach the foot. By tapping along the entire path, You're essentially guiding energy and circulation from the knee all the way to the toes. When you reach the top of the foot and tap gently along the line between the big toe and second toe, you stimulate one of the most sensitive nerve zones in the foot. This area acts like a nerve switchboard. When activated gently, it helps reset misfiring nerve signals that cause burning or numbness. The combination of tapping up the leg and across the top of the foot creates a full chain reaction that encourages the nerves to open up and communicate more clearly. After the tapping, the next step is toe lifting, which might seem simple but is incredibly effective. When you lift your toes while keeping your heel on the floor, you activate small muscles on the front of the leg that rarely get used. These muscles sit directly over the nerve pathway, and when they engage, they gently pull the surrounding tissue away from the nerve. This gives the nerve space to relax and breathe. That moment of space, even for just a second, can drastically improve how the nerve fires. People often underestimate how much tension builds in the foot from tight footwear, standing for long periods, or walking on hard surfaces. Toe lifting counters that tension by stretching the foot in a natural way that restores movement. The doctor emphasizes that nerves respond well to movement that is controlled and gentle, and toe lifting does exactly that. The final step is the thumb massage on the arch of the foot. This part calms the entire nervous system. When you press and rotate your thumb into the arch, you stimulate nerve endings that send signals upward telling the body to relax. The arch is rich with connection points tied to balance, posture, and sensory awareness. Massaging this area brings warmth and circulation back into the sole, which helps the nerves fire more accurately. This step is especially helpful for people who feel numbness, because numb areas often wake up when the arch is stimulated. The pressure does not have to be strong. Even a light circular motion helps the brain reconnect to the foot. When all three steps are done together, tapping, toe lifting, and arch massage, they create a balanced method that reaches the nerves from multiple angles. The tapping wakes them up, the toe lifting opens them up, and the massage calms them down. This sequence is what makes the method so effective for easing, burning, tingling, and numbness. It resets the entire nerve pathway in just 1 minute, offering relief that grows stronger with daily practice and helping people regain comfort, sensation, and confidence in their feet. One of the most encouraging things about this 1-minute nerve trick is how quickly many people begin to feel a change, even if they've been struggling with tingling, burning, or numb feet for years. Japan's oldest doctor explains that nerves respond immediately when you give them the right type of stimulation because they are constantly communicating with the brain. When they've been restricted, compressed, or overwhelmed for a long time, even a small moment of release feels dramatic. That's why some people notice warmth spreading through their feet within seconds of starting the routine. Others feel a soft tingling that feels different from their usual discomfort, more like the sensation of nerves waking up. Some experience a sudden lightness in their feet or improved balance when they stand up. These immediate effects come from the improved blood flow and the reduction of tension around the nerve pathway. Even though the technique is gentle, it sends fresh oxygen and circulation to areas that haven't been getting enough, and nerves react quickly to that change. What's even more remarkable is how these small moments of immediate relief build into bigger changes over time. When you repeat the technique daily, the nerves begin to function more consistently. They learn to fire correctly instead of sending mixed or distorted signals. The muscles surrounding the nerves start to loosen naturally, and the circulatory pathways open up so blood flows more smoothly to the lower legs and feet. If the nerves have been misfiring for months or years, it takes some time for them to fully reset, but each day of practice strengthens their ability to communicate properly. People often begin to notice that the burning sensations they once felt at night start to fade, or that the numbness that made walking uncomfortable begins to shrink in size. Eventually, they regain sensation in areas that once felt completely disconnected. The doctor describes nerves as creatures of habit, meaning they respond best to routines that are gentle and repeated. Many people try to fix nerve discomfort by doing something once and hoping for a miracle, but nerves don't work that way. They thrive on consistency. By giving them the same 1-minute stimulation every day, you train them to behave differently. It's similar to how muscles get stronger with repeated exercise, or how flexibility increases with regular stretching. The nervous system is no different. This trick essentially becomes a daily reminder for your nerves, teaching them how to calm down, open up, and communicate more accurately. Another important aspect of long-term improvement is the reduction of inflammation and stress along the nerve pathway. When nerves are constantly irritated, the surrounding tissues become inflamed, which makes everything worse. But when the technique is practiced regularly, inflammation gradually decreases. The gentle tapping and controlled movement encourage the tissues to relax instead of tighten. Over time, this creates an environment where the nerves can heal naturally because nothing is pressing on them aggressively anymore. Long-term relief isn't about forcing the body to change. It's about giving the nerves the space and support they need to recover at their own pace. People who commit to this routine often report that they feel more stable when walking, their feet feel warmer throughout the day, and they can stand for longer periods without discomfort. These improvements come from the nerves functioning the way they were designed to. When blood flow returns, when muscle tension decreases, and when nerve signals stop misfiring, the feet begin to work better in every way. The doctor often reminds patients that even the oldest, most irritated nerves can improve when treated with patience and gentle attention. Immediate results are wonderful because they give people hope, but the real transformation happens slowly, through daily practice. The combination of fast relief and long-term stability is what makes this technique so powerful for anyone dealing with burning, tingling, or numbness in their feet. When people first try the 1-minute nerve routine, they're often surprised by how quickly they feel warmth, tingling relief, or a slight return of sensation. But the truth is that the biggest transformation doesn't come from doing it once. It comes from doing it consistently. Nerves respond to repetition, rhythm, and gentle daily stimulation, and just like muscles, they improve with consistent training. When you do this simple technique every day, even though it only takes 60 seconds, you are repeatedly sending the message to your nerves that it's safe to open up, safe to reconnect, and safe to restore the flow of signals throughout the legs and feet. Consistency helps the nerves rebuild their communication network, allowing them to gradually recover from long-term compression, irritation, or weakness. Many people underestimate how much their daily habits affect their nerves, but every minute you sit, stand, or move in a way that restricts circulation or tightens certain muscles and puts stress on those nerve pathways. Doing the 1-minute technique regularly gives the nerves a daily reset, an opportunity to clear out blockages, reduce tension, and restore a smoother pathway for electrical signals to travel. When you make this routine part of your daily life, your body begins to adapt in positive ways. Muscles that normally stay tight around the lower back, hips, and calves start to relax. Blood flow improves because you're stimulating the tissues that surround the nerves, bringing fresh oxygen and nutrients to areas that may have been deprived for years. The nerves get the consistent movement they need to stay healthy, because motion is what keeps nerve tunnels flexible and open. Even your brain begins to remap the signals more efficiently, reinforcing the connection between the central nervous system and your feet. The longer you stick with it, the more your body learns that this improved nerve flow is the new normal, and over time, tingling, burning, and numbness can fade because the nerves are no longer stuck in a stressed or compressed state. This is why so many people start feeling small improvements within days, but see the biggest changes after weeks of repeating the routine. Nerve healing takes time, but it also responds incredibly well to daily stimulation. Consistency also builds body awareness. The more you practice the technique, the more you start noticing how certain movements, postures, or activities trigger symptoms. You become more mindful of when your nerves feel relaxed versus when they feel irritated. This awareness encourages small adjustments throughout your day, like improving your sitting posture, taking short walking breaks, or stretching your calves before bed. And these micro-adjustments contribute massively to long-term nerve health. What starts as a simple daily routine turns into a lifestyle shift, where your nerves are no longer neglected or overworked, and this gradual change is what creates lasting relief. Doing the routine consistently also helps prevent the problem from returning, because nerves that are regularly activated and stimulated remain healthier, more flexible, and better protected against future compression. Over time, people often report better balance, stronger steps, warmer feet, and less nighttime discomfort because their nerves have regained much of their natural function. The routine becomes a form of maintenance, just like brushing your teeth or stretching your back, and its effects compound the more you stick with it. Even if you're older or have been dealing with nerve problems for years, the body still responds positively to daily nerve stimulation. It's never too late for nerves to improve, but they need consistent care, and that daily minute is what keeps the healing process active, steady, and moving in the right direction.